Oh, it's a new series. Just smell that? Oh, the freshness of it, straight out of his box. I've got a can of Fanta Fruit Twist Zero. Fucking lovely shit, I tell you. My mind is fresh, and I'm ready to go. Oh, still got that new wrapper smell on it. So yeah, a new series, as you can tell by the title, wherever the title may be. It's been a while since I've watched YouTube videos. Actually, not a while. I watched them today, but yeah. Wherever the title may be, up there or down, just fucking below it. Yeah. What the football? WTF. Not to be confused with the other variation of it. So yeah, it's an idea I thought about all summer. You know, not massively, but just in the back of my head. You know, what can I do to sort of improve the channel, sort of thing. So the whole idea is videos will last around about 10 minutes roughly. No waffling, it'll just be all about football, and I'll give my player of the weekend, my worst player of the weekend, my team of the weekend, not as in individual players but together, no, just team in general, and my game of the weekend. So, where do we begin? Because there was a lot that happened, but we're going to start all with the North East teams. So we're going to start off first, good old League 2 Hartlepool. So Exeter 1, Hartlepool 2, and apart from goal difference, Hartlepool are joint top of League 2. Now I know the season's only started, it's 2 games in, but what? Any Hartlepool fans watching this? What's that about? Hartlepool joint top of League 2. I mean, you're normally struggling down at the bottom. There's a revolution happening, isn't there? You know, that's for sure. But again, it is early doors, I know, so it's a bit of me sticking my neck out here, but could you imagine the possibility of Hartlepool getting promoted? You never know. I mean, you never know. I mean, it was a good win away to Exeter, 2-1. And again, I can only go off what I've been reading because I can't really watch Hartlepool games. You know, no disrespect, but yeah, you can watch highlights, but yeah. You've seen that diabolical program on Channel 5? So, yeah, but it begs to think, you know, imagine if Hartlepool keep that going all through the season with the way they've started. You know, it'd be pretty damn good by the end of the season. So we're going to move on, we're going to go way north of Hartlepool now, and we're going to go to that little rubble city where the Flintstones lived. Actually no, it's an insult to the Flintstones. We've gone to Newcastle. Newcastle versus Huddersfield. I was waiting in case there was any crickets wanted to chirp, to be honest with you. When are Newcastle actually going to start their season? Now, being a Sunderland fan, of course, I'm laughing my tits off. I'm laughing all the way to the fucking bookies, you know. I nearly said bank, but no, it doesn't work that way. Newcastle United won Huddersfield Town. Little Huddersfield Town too. And again, I know it's only early doors, so you can't really slate Rafa or the players, but from what I've seen with the highlights and what I've read, how can the team dominate a game and still lose? I mean, this is a team that is apparently aiming to bounce back into the Premier League. All they're going to do at the minute is bounce down to League One. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a Sunderland fan, I'm not. I mean, you've got to go with what you see. And what I saw was a pretty dominant Newcastle team. You know, the team of the Premier League that they used to be. Just looking awful though as well. And it is a shame to say because yeah, they are our rivals, and of course we would all love the derby back. It's great they're down there. You know, we put them there. We can take credit for that, but I don't know. I mean, surely Rafa can only be given a fair few more games. You know, I normally aim off at around about 6 or 7 games for a new manager who's bringing in new players, and he's brought in the Championship experience. I can understand that, but where do you go? Where do Newcastle turn to now? You know, they should have and could have easily won that 4 or 5-0, but they didn't. and it's beyond beggars belief. I know it's going to take time for the players to gel, just like it will with Sunderland, just like it would with any team if you make a fair few changes. It is one of those things. But this is a team that a few seasons ago were battling in Europe. Was it quarter-final or semi-final, I believe they were in? Or I think it was quarter-final going to trying to battle to the semi-final, wasn't it? The Europa League. And now look at where they are. It's beyond beggars belief. Will they bounce back? I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you. It is too. It's one of those where it is too early to tell. But maybe in a few weeks' time, we'll get a gauge of maybe where we could think of where they could possibly finish in the table. But yeah, moving on, we're gonna head west. I'm trying to get my directions right here. Fuck no. I need a sat nav. Yeah, we're gonna head west now. So we're gonna go to Manchester City, Sunderland. Obviously, it's just gonna be briefly touching on it. So yeah, obviously Sunderland are losing. It was a shame to see. They went there with a game plan. They held that plan pretty damn well, to be honest with you. Really sort of tried to get a hold, not possession-wise, but tried to get a hold of the game by shutting Man City out. Didn't quite work. Unlucky own goal, which couldn't be helped, as we've all seen in the replays by now. If you've seen the replays, which I advise you do, yeah. Wasn't as bad as own goal as first thought, put it that way, thank God. So where does Sunderland go from here? Well, hopefully a couple more signings coming in this week. And we just need to push on. We've got Middlesbrough next, and we could do pretty well. And speaking of Middlesbrough, we're going to head back over to the east now, over to Middlesbrough. And I've got to tell you, Middlesbrough, you know what? Credit where credit's due. You should have beat Stoke, in my opinion. Personally, you should have really pissed all over Stoke, because Stoke were awful. They really were. And it's typical Stoke, isn't it? They always start the season fucking slower than a nun pulling a habit up, And not that I know what that's like, by the way. Don't get any ideas of going looking at fucking permanent nuns. No, that's a no-no. But you know what? You should have had that game in the bag. But you made a statement, and you made a fucking good, solid statement. Might have only been a 1-1 draw. Personally, in my opinion, you deserved all 3 points. But you proved that you're in with the big boys now, and you're going to do your fucking utmost to handle it. And credit where credit's fucking due. So where do Middlesbrough go from here? To be honest, just play the same. You can't really ask much more. Because I was quite shocked with the way they performed. Genuinely I was. I thought they are going to be the whipping boys of the Premier League this season. Boy, was I wrong. I was honestly 100% wrong, and I'll always admit that. They've got a lot of fucking balls about them, that's for sure. Stoke, on the other hand, well, yeah. Moving on. So, as you can tell already, none of the North East teams have earned player, worst player, game of the day, and what the fuck? Oh fucking hell, the other one's gone. Yeah, or team, So Hull versus Leicester City. Now this one was interesting, very interesting, that's for sure. Hull beating the Premier League champion. Now talk about making a statement, much like Middlesbrough just did. Leicester looked horrible. They really did. They didn't look like champions. I mean, they defended worse than what Sunderland did at the start of last season. They were awful. Hull went there with a game plan, put the strangle on Jamie Vardy. Leicester tried playing the long ball like they did last season. They weren't hitting it long enough. Loop it over the back line so Vardy can latch on. No, they were hitting it just towards the back line, hoping and praying for Vardy to do something. So to that note, I've got to say my worst player of the weekend, who has not lived up anywhere near the expectation of what he did last season, is Jamie Vardy. It's as simple as that. So, on the other hand, that means my team of the weekend, it has to be Hull City. Guts, determination, resilience. They've only got 13 first team members. The rest are fucking crippled. They're sat in the hospital or sat on the fucking bench or in the stands, leg in a plaster cast and everything. Arm up here in a brace. It's just crazy, absolutely crazy. Hull City beating the Premier League champions with technically less than a full first team squad. Mental, absolutely. Only in the Premier League can you have that. Only in the Premier League. So yeah, Hull team of the Hull team of the weekend. Vardy worst player. So that moves us on. We're going to go to one more game here, and it has to be yesterday, without shadow of a doubt. And I'm sorry, Man U fans, it wasn't that boring style of football, I'm afraid. It goes to Arsenal and Liverpool, and that is my game of the weekend, without a shadow of a doubt. Arsenal 3, Liverpool 4. What a game! You know, the opening day of the Premier League was fucking boring, to say the least. 1-1, 1-1, 1-1, 1-2, 1-2. What the fuck was that? But I can't get over it. Yesterday was just amazing to watch, you know. Times it had a few lulls in the game, all midfield, but, you know, 1-0 Arsenal, 1-1, 2-1 Liverpool, 3-1 Liverpool, 4-1 Liverpool, 4-2, 4-3. What on earth? It was like watching a fucking game of cricket, it really was. So yeah, that has to definitely be my game of the weekend. But Liverpool, they nearly put themselves in that purple patch again, didn't they? When Arsenal got back into that game of 4-3, they really did. Arsenal scored a few crackers, but I suppose the one that gets it the most is Coutinho's free kick, and for that alone, he is my player of the weekend, without a shadow of a doubt. Just unbelievable, unbelievable free kick to watch. It really was, and it's a sort of game of football. You know, for me, I know I'm a Sunderland fan, but when it comes to say watching Arsenal or Liverpool, it means you're a football neutral, doesn't it? You know, you're not really rooting for any team. You're just enjoying a good game of football, and that's what it was. And that is why it is the game of the weekend, to say the least. The least. I mean, I wanted to wait for tonight because obviously Chelsea, I believe it is, versus West Ham, but you know, that could either have massive scoreline written all over it or just a fucking boring game. You know? So there we have it. You know, you've had the lot. You know, that's my recap of the games of the weekend. North East teams in there as well. Let me know what you thought of the video. Leave your comments below. Do you want to see more videos like this? I know my channel is predominantly Sunderland. It will always be predominantly Sunderland. But it's just something I sort of toyed with in my mind. You know, sort of thought of a layout. You know, what the football. Episode 1. Let me know below if you want to see episode 2 after next weekend. And then, hey, who knows, it could become a reality. Fingers crossed. Let me know what you thought. Leave your comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. What you doing? Come on. Get those subs up there, you know. And well, I'll see you on Thursday. Premier League preview. Derby weekend. Well, miniature derby weekend, I guess you could really say. It's not quite the weird type derby, is it? But hey, at least we still get a derby.